Alright guys, I was logging into Asia and I noticed that you have some stuff that's been removed from the shop. Just take about 5 minutes or so to talk to you about these items. Now, originally I would probably say, oh shit, they're doing what they do in Global, where they take out a load of really good items and they hide them away inside gold boxes or do some crazy shit, so we can never get them. But I'm not sure that's the case, and I actually think that they're probably going to do a bit of balancing for these items. Now, some of these names are slightly different for global, but nevertheless, they're the same items. These items have been removed, and some people have complained a little bit about it. And some people probably will complain about it, saying, oh look, they're removing all these items now they're going to put them back in and make them more expensive or something like that. And I actually think that they're probably removing them because they actually want to start to balance some items. I want to highlight certain items for you in this package, and I want to talk about how they are in global. Now, of course, global and Asia are different servers. Items are not exactly the same. They don't perform the same in every aspect, but I want to talk to you about why I think some of these items have been removed for balancing purposes. Let's go down the rifle because that's the longest list. Okay, now the Silver Star, or the AS as it's called in our server, I don't think it's a bad weapon. I think it's pretty good. It's in the gold box, unfortunately, only. But I do think it's a pretty good rifle. It does have a little bit of spread, a little bit of recoil. Not too much, of course, because it's a BSC rifle. I mean, what do you expect? But it does have some. I can only assume that they're removing it in Asia because they need to rebalance it. They maybe need to give it a little bit more recoil, maybe a little bit more spread, or alternatively they need to increase the price, because I do think also some of these items that are being removed, they might increase the price of the items and make them a bit more expensive. Okay, now we go down the list. Now the AK-47 Red Frog is useless. In global, it is useless. It is shit. Actually, I would even go as far as saying you should just use the standard AK or the AK Gold or the AK Urban instead of the AK Red Frog. It is shit. I don't know why it's so bad. I couldn't tell you. But all I know is, in my personal experience, and some people may disagree with me, but in my personal experience, this Red Frog is a pile of crap. Then we go on to the Bren tuning. I don't really need to say too much about the Bren tuning. You know my comments already. It's basically what the Scar Aurum used to be, or the Scar EMAS as it's called in your server. It is OP as fuck in global. It has zero recoil, it has high damage, reasonable fire rate, and apparently the drawback to it is that you move slowly with it. I don't really think you move slowly with it, but you move slowly with it, so that's a big drawback. Okay. Maybe the balance will come in this weapon. Maybe they will add some recoil. Maybe they'll add a bit of spread to the rounds. Maybe they'll do something to make it actually a gun that takes some form of skill. Because at the moment, it takes fucking zero skill. Scar EMAS, or the Scar Aurum for global. This gun is pretty good. I complained a lot about it when it was first released in global because it was OP as fuck. It does have some recoil and a bit of spread now, I will admit. It's still a strong weapon because of its high damage, but that's unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but that is just the way the Scars are. It's a good weapon. I only assume that they're going to maybe make it a little bit worse, make it a little bit tougher, a little bit more recoil or something with this one. Now, please bear in mind, I'm not going to go through every weapon because I don't want to bore you for like 25 minutes. But I want to talk about some of them. Now, the HK416 Tua, we don't have this in global. It's pretty much locked away and hidden in a box or some fucking just GM stats, one of those type of guns. It's a good weapon. It's got barely no recoil, but it does have some spread to the bullets if I remember correctly. Now, obviously, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong because you know more about Asia than I do. I'm just going off what I know. I assume with this weapon, again, they might need to tone things down a little bit. They might need to give it a bit of recoil, make it a bit tougher. Okay, let's go down the list. So we've got... Now the M4 Super 90 Snow is called the M4 Super 90 Ice in Global, and it's shit, in my opinion. It's pretty shit. The M4 Super 90, the BP version, just the standard, is better than it in a lot of ways. Maybe not actual power, but in fire rate and things like that, it's just better. So I assume they're going to give that some form of buff, make it a bit nicer. SAR Assassin, I assume that will get a nerf, just because I know how popular and how strong it is in Asia. I assume that will get some form of nerf. The AK-47 DGIC, I assume this will actually get a bit of a buff. I assume that it will get some form of buff. I couldn't tell you exactly. Maybe it'll have slightly less recoil or something like that. HK416MY, I mean, this again is similar to the HK416 Tour. You know, it's similar. Again, I think it's going to get slightly more recoil. The AK Forest in Global is reasonably useless. I like it because of its aesthetic, but it's not really that good. It's like the Red Frog, really, or not quite as bad, but it you know, similar. Then we get obviously the standard Brem will get a nerf, in my opinion, just like the BSC version. Now remember, the standard Bren is for BP in Global, and it's still considered probably the best, if not one of the best, BP rifles. Now, I've seen some idiots on forums and stuff like that go, the Scar is the best BP weapon, Scar for life. It's nothing compared to the Bren. It's nothing compared to the Bren. These people just say this shit because they don't want to show you that there's quite an OP weapon, you know. M4A1 Kitty, no idea what that is. M4A1 Elite, no idea what that is. So I couldn't tell you. Now snipers, I don't really want to go into snipers because I don't know enough about snipers. What I will say is the M24 Golden Star, I think that's going to get a nerf. I think it's not going to be quite as OP as it used to be. The reason why I'm saying that is because every time I see people using that in Asia, they dominate people so hard. We go to SMGs. The FMG tuning is OP as fuck. The Chris Vector Urban is OP as fuck. Then, apart from that, I think those two at the top are going to be nerfed. I think maybe even the CAC Fleckturn, or whatever it's called, I think that might get a slight nerf as well. But then I think the SMGs below that are probably going to get slight buffs, so they're going to be made slightly better. Melee, Rui Bang, OP as fuck. Probably going to get some form of either attack rate or fire rate nerf, or it's going to get a slightly reduced range because it is OP as hell. Again, Katana Kodachi, I think they're going to get slightly nerfed as well, because they are like the melee weapons to have in melee to dominate people. You're just going to dominate people with those weapons. It's just the way it is. Now the Scythe and the Azrael Blade, I think they'll probably get slight buffs. I don't know whether that's going to be to the fire rate or whether it's going to be to the range a little bit, but I think they will get a slight buff. And that's really it. Now, the items listed below will remain in the item mall for a certain period. The new item list will be changed after the sale period ends. So, these will remain in the shop, basically. So, yeah. I hope that they do some good work with these weapons. It's nice to see. In Global, we've had a lot of our weapons taken out and rebalanced and stuff like that. But in most cases, I don't really think they've had the effect that they would like. It's nice to see in Asia that you're removing a load of weapons to try and rebalance them, fix them up. I worry that, unfortunately, these items might well stay removed from the store, and you may well start to see them being put in gold boxes and stuff. I really worry that may be the case. If that is the case, then I feel super sorry for you guys, because we have that in Global and they milk us for every penny that they can. Every new weapon that comes in, or every OP weapon that they want, they make the most expensive weapons. The Bren tuning, the strongest rifle in the game, is the most expensive rifle, and The MSR Omega, which is an OP as fuck sniper, is again in the most expensive gold box. So I hope that that doesn't happen to you guys in Asia. Maybe it will, because, you know, I can imagine, me included, a lot of global players will complain saying, I've played on Asia and they have all the items available, but you make them so expensive in global. So maybe some pressure might come from Vertigo to try to even out the way the item sales go in both servers. I don't know that for certain. Those are just my opinions, so please don't take them as factual. I really hope some good things come from this. We will see in the future when these items get reintroduced. We will see what happens. I know some of you are probably pissed because they've removed some items you like, but understand this. Some of these items are damn OP, and for BP players, it's really tough. In both servers, it's very tough. So that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this little sort of look at the items. I know I couldn't give you as much information as I would like. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not, you know, inside Player One Asia's mind or inside Vertigo's mind about this. What I will say is, we have in global, we have a Korean testing team now, and I can only assume that you have the same testing team. And from the track record of the items that have been released recently, they seem to be going towards the pay-to-win method of playing the game. So, yeah. Good luck, guys. You know, enjoy yourselves in the game. Thank you for watching.